The man chosen to lead the coup in the troubled western region was another Igbo, Captain Nwobosi. I'm reading The Nigerian Civil War by John de St. John. The man chosen to lead the coup in the troubled western region was another Igbo, Captain Nwobosi, the artillery commander in the Abeokuta garrison. Nwobosi, who had only been taken into the confidence of the conspirators and briefed a day or two before Operation Damisa took place, received a telephone call late on Friday night from Ifajuna in Lagos, giving him the go-ahead, and took her to the nearest hospital. The column reached Ibadan at 2 a.m. as planned. They first drove to the automatic telephone exchange and ordered all the staff to leave the building, and then went to the city's main electric power station. Again, the employees were ordered to leave, but when some of them asked the captain to give them a lift into town, he obligingly did so. The Deputy Prime Minister of the Western Region, Chief Fani Kayode, was the next target. His house was quickly surrounded and Nwobosi broke in and arrested him, saying that it was a, quote, lawful arrest by the army, end quote. From upstairs, a woman's voice was heard pleading, "Don't kill him." The convoy moved on to the Premier's lodge, where the security lights were blazing, powered by an emergency generator. The Premier, Chief Akintola, had been warned by his deputy's wife. The automatic telephone exchange, though occupied, had not apparently been immobilized and had had time to prepare. So in other words, it was Fani Kayode's wife who called Akintola to inform him of what happened to her husband, and that was how he was prepared before they got to his house. So it says here, the Premier, Chief Akintola, had been warned by his deputy's wife. The automatic telephone exchange, though occupied, had not apparently been immobilized and had had time to prepare. But his police guards were swiftly overcome by the soldiers, while Nwobosi neutralized the generator, plunging the house into darkness. The police report takes up the tale. This is the police report from that incident. Captain Nwobosi stood in the middle of the courtyard and shouted, "Akintola, come down. You are under lawful arrest by the army on orders from HQ2 Brigade." A voice from upstairs, presumably that of Akintola, replied, quote, "Yes, I am coming," end quote. Nothing further happened. Captain Nwobosi repeated his summons a number of times without a reaction from Akintola. He then fired one round from his rifle at the building. When this produced no result, the captain ordered his men into the building. To gain entrance, Nwobosi was compelled to force the main door to the lodge. They all entered and mounted the stairs. On the first floor, they searched a number of rooms without encountering anyone until they came to Akintola's bedroom, which was locked. When the captain was about to force this door, Akintola opened fire from inside the room with a submachine gun, shooting through the closed door. This burst of fire wounded Nwobosi and an officer and soldier with him. None of the injuries, however, were sufficiently serious to impede them. The captain and his men immediately returned the fire whilst retreating down the stairs. They then left the house in a hurry and sought cover among the flower beds facing the building. Akintola came to the room over the entrance porch and continued to fire at his assailants with his SMG without, however, hitting anyone. Captain Nwobosi ordered his men to return the fire, which they did massively. Akintola continued firing until he ran out of ammunition. Around this time, Fani Kayode, the Deputy Premier, was heard shouting from the Land Rover to Akintola, urging him to surrender. Akintola, now defenseless, decided to surrender and was next seen coming out of the front room. He raised his hands and went downstairs. Nwobosi, in the meantime, was heard shouting repeatedly, "Bring him out! Bring him out!" He then ordered two of his men to shoot the Premier. These two opened fire on Akintola with their rifles, joined shortly afterwards by Nwobosi himself. Akintola fell down dead or dying with several bullets in his body. Please, can you hear me on TikTok, just to be sure, because everywhere just quiet. Feel like say, because the story is touching, but just to be sure, just let me know you're here. Okay, thank you.